Ian Bainbridge. He's a father, a businessman and a Christian, but 6 years ago his future was turned upside down.
I didn't really know anything about multiple sclerosis. I knew it was pretty grim. I knew there was limited treatments available, and that the general sense was I would end up eventually in a pretty bad way. But my wife and I were Christians. That gives us hope.
He's against assisted dying.
As disease progresses, people can do less and less, and they need more and more to be done for them. And it's this sense that you are a burden on your loved ones and your family, and also, in times of austerity, you're a burden on society. My drugs cost a lot of money, and as well as my injections, I need other drugs. I see a neurologist. I see the doctor more than most people my age probably do. There's no doubt about it. Financially, people with serious illnesses are a burden on society, and a right to die would end up as an obligation to die for many people.
The Bishop of Carlisle shares his view. Assisted suicide is already legalised in countries like Belgium, Holland, Switzerland. Why shouldn't we be following their lead?
In this case, we're talking not actually about somebody's right to die. We're talking about somebody else's right to help them die and to, in fact, in some cases, even kill them. And we don't believe that that's something that's not a track we wish to go down in a compassionate society.
But we're talking about people who are likely to die within the next 6 months.
And I think part of the argument is that it's very difficult, and many doctors would agree with this, it's very difficult to know when somebody is pretty close to the end. There are quite a lot of people wandering around today who've been given 2 months to live and who've lived for 20 years, and many who've been given a very short time to live and many months later are still alive and in some cases have recovered. There's also, in this particular case, a requirement that people should be in their right mind, as it were, when they ask for assisted suicide. That again is very difficult to gauge.
If you look at the Bible, Jesus went out of his way to stop and help people who were suffering. He healed them in order to end their suffering. So surely God would want to ease the suffering of people.
Of course he would, and I think the way he does that, as you've indicated yourself, is by healing, not by killing. And so we're talking about two very different things here. And I think we would want to argue that if we go down this track, the kind of research that's being put into good palliative care and the sort of care that goes on in hospices and in many people's homes at the moment, which is outstanding, would be reduced. I think that'd be a tragedy. I think it's up to us as a society to discover constantly new ways in which we can help and care for people who are in pain or distress towards the end of their life and look after them properly as valued members of society.
But not all the Church agrees. Lord Carey, former Archbishop of Canterbury, says ending needless suffering is a Christian thing to do. Eric Tiffin agrees. He has motor neuron disease.
Is that I believe that there is a point that we should be able to end it when we decide to. When I can't get about and do a lot of things, or I can't move, can't talk, you're bedridden, that could just be about the point. We can't keep animals in distress, so why do we keep people in distress?
His family supports his decision. His wife says when the time comes, she won't change her mind.
I've seen it in my family where they've just laid in bed, couldn't do anything, so no, I wouldn't change my mind. I think it'll be a blessing.
Parliament has to decide, is choice in death humane and dignified, or do we not have the right to end a life? Fiona Marley-Patterson, ITV News.